Don't tell me that you'll be applying for the Global Korea Scholarship Program next month and you haven't completed all your documents. Well, it's possible, and here's how. If you're applying for the Global Korea Scholarship Program undergraduate studies and by now you haven't really completed all your documents, and especially for those who haven't graduated yet, there is this specific leeway that the NIAED is giving if you haven't graduated or you haven't received your documents from your universities or from your school. And those specifically are the transcript of records and certificate of graduation or diploma. And based on the guidelines from NIAID, you can still apply for the scholarship program, provided that you can present a certificate of expected graduation. So this will be what the university and the NIAID and the embassy will refer to as part of your requirement related to the graduation certificate. So what's the content of the certificate of expected graduation? Technically, the university, your school currently is signifying that you are part of the expected graduates for the upcoming graduation of your school. So some schools, it depends on the language, but based on the guidelines, it should always be either in English or in Korean. So the best way for you is actually translated into English. And then the certificate of expected graduation can be submitted alongside with your grades, so your transcript of records. So how's the process for this? Technically, the first thing you should do is actually request this from your university or from your school, from your high school. So just ask them if possible for them to issue an expected graduation certificate or of such effect. So it depends on per school. Once you've got these documents, you just have to include it as part of your application. Technically, well, in totally, I'm not really sure if you have to apostille these documents since they are not diploma. The best way for you to do it is always ask the NIED. That's the first. Number two, ask the embassy. Number three, ask the university. Because if they have other special requirements, you need to provide them as part of your requirement. So once that you have secured this document, certificate of expected graduation, and then you got selected to the scholarship program, now you have an extra task that you have to do in order to be able to fly here in South Korea. Because even if you got selected as a GKS student with just a certificate of expected graduation, there is a possibility that you will get rejected and be not included in the final list if you will not be able to provide the document on or before January. I think there's this specific stipulation in the NIED guidelines as well, indicating that they have a deadline for that. And here's the reason why. Because if you haven't completed your high school, you won't be able to proceed to your graduate studies, even your undergraduate studies, and then your Korean language classes. So here's the timeline. It all goes down to the timeline. The application starts on September. It will go on until probably around January. By February, you have to arrive here in South Korea. So that's critical timeline, the January to Feb. Because you have to submit your documents by then. Then you have to apply for visa. And then you have to communicate everything about your arrival here, your enrollment to the Korean language school. Therefore, it's important for you to manage all these things. And if you have a lacking document, you will not be able to fly here in South Korea, even if the university selected you or even if the embassy selected you. So again, it's quite important that you really take note of this. So again, NIED will still accept your documents for assessment even if you haven't secured the diploma. But you have to make sure that you'll be able to submit the apostilled diploma on or before a specific date in January. And that's a part of the process. So I hope you're getting more information about the scholarship program and you still have a month in order to prepare. The best thing for you to do is to make sure to have a checklist. If you're part of my paid subscription program, I have a specific checklist there explaining the requirements you have to submit. At the same time, you can share a Google doc file, Google Docs file for my email. I'll be sharing the email, and then I can help edit and probably critique or provide comments about your personal statement, a statement of purpose. And there's an elevated program. Actually, there's a second tier. It's more related to interview because the NID, a lot of applicants actually pass the document screening, but majority of them actually fail during the interview round. And the best strategy, I always employ this. If you're applying for a scholarship program, treat it as if it is a job hunting. The documents will get you to the door, will get your foot on the door of the company, but it's the interview that seals the deal. Similarly, documents, your high grades, your community projects, your extracurricular activities will put your documents on the table. But what seals the deal is actually part of the personal statement at the same time as the interview. However, there are lucky students who will not get interviewed and get automatically recommended by the university. I was one of those who were lucky enough that when I submitted my documents, um, they just accepted my application and no need for interview. Those are exceptional case, and probably and because of the popularity of the scholarship program, they really do a lot of interviews now just to filter. And I think I was able to craft a personal statement and statement of purpose that they don't really need to do an interview with me, because I think they were able to see everything they want to see in my personal statement and statement of purpose. And then that's it. If you want to get to know more about these tips, probably do a one-on-one discussion with me in my personal message with me. I highly suggest subscribing in my paid subscription program. If not, I mean, I provide tips, tricks, and guide for those for free like this. So just watch out and continue watching. Share this if your friends need some advice. If you want to share this information as well. I mean, that's the best thing you can do. Until then, bye bye.